Andretti had the backing of American automotive powerhouse General Motors and was gearing up to join the F1 World Championship as soon as 2025. However, more is needed. That's because Andretti's ambitious proposal to establish a new F1 team, which gained approval from the FIA towards the end of last year, has now been turned down by Formula One management. Why did F1 say no, and can Andretti still get into F1? Let's find out. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali always said any new team must add to F1 overall. That meant the American team had to prove it would help F1 grow. So it's unsurprising that F1 took 3 months to think about Andretti's application and then said no, at least for now. What's interesting is how detailed F1 was when they told everybody about their decision. They probably did that to ensure nobody could say they didn't have good reasons. Let's take a look at the reason why Formula One said no to Andretti's F1 bid. The rejection stemmed from several factors centered around Andretti's proposals, competitiveness, and logistical challenges. A significant hurdle was Andretti's reliance on an existing engine supplier, likely Alpine, until General Motors could develop its power unit. Formula One explained that a newcomer team working with a new engine supplier would face significant challenges. They emphasized that starting with General Motors would have given Andretti's bid more credibility. Formula One also pointed out that Andretti would face a challenge in making cars for 2 sets of rules in 2025 and 2026. Plus, relying on another company's engine before GM's was ready might cause problems working with other partners. Formula One stated, on this basis, we do not believe that the applicant would be a competitive participant. Even though F1 acknowledged the cool factor of having the Andretti name on the grid, their research said that it's F1 adding value to the Andretti brand, not the other way round. And they needed to see how Andretti joining F1 would bring in more money. The statement wrapped it up by saying, based on the application as it stands, we do not believe that the applicant has shown that it would add value to the championship. We conclude that the applicant's application to participate in the championship should not be successful. F1 clearly stated that Andretti's chances are closed unless they can bring a better deal, like having their engine and a more competitive offer. But that can only happen slowly. It will take a long time. Even before Formula One was decided, the Andretti bid faced challenges from most teams currently on the grid. But why were these teams against Andretti? Well, the existing teams, all 10 of them, didn't get a vote in the decision, but they weren't shy about sharing their concerns. They worried that adding another team to the grid could shake things up financially. They feared it might affect how much money they get from winning races and competing. Another concern was whether Andretti's entry would boost F1's popularity in the United States. After all, there's already a team from America in F1, Haas. Toto Wolff, who's in charge at Mercedes, even said they might need more space on the tracks for another team. However, in October last year, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem dismissed these concerns, stating that the opposition was primarily all about the money. Despite facing these challenges and not having an official entry into F1, Andretti pushed forward with plans for its emerging team. Recent reports state that Andretti's F1 team has grown to over 120 people. They're spread out across Indianapolis, Silverstone, and Charlotte. Andretti attracted talent from big teams like Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. They started testing their car design in wind tunnels since last year and plan to have a full-size model ready. In a brief response issued a few hours after F1 was announced, Andretti Cadillac strongly disagreed with the notion that it wouldn't be competitive. The statement emphasized their commitment to placing a genuine American works team in F1, standing alongside the best in the world. Mario Andretti, the team's patriarch, shared his feelings on Twitter, saying, "I'm devastated. I won't say anything else because I can't find any other words besides devastated." He believes fans deserve to see an American team like his competing against the famous names already in F1, and he's not wrong. The recent boost in Formula One's popularity thanks to Netflix's Drive to Survive brought in 2 new races in America, making fans wonder, is F1 really into building a lasting fan base in the US, or are they just after money? Andretti's global bid to join F1 was a big deal. Now that they got rejected, fans, especially American fans, are not just disappointed, they're frustrated, upset, and even disgusted. Fans looked closely at the rejection letter from FOM and didn't like what they saw. F1 hinted that Andretti Global wouldn't be able to compete right away. Still, many fans thought it was an easy excuse to say no without giving Andretti a fair shot. Then there's this idea that Andretti would benefit more from F1 than F1 would from them. That hit a nerve. Mario Andretti is a big deal in racing. He won the Formula 1 championship and is in the Hall of Fame. The thought that F1 said Andretti would only use their fame didn't sit well with fans. The Andretti family has been in racing for a long time, and fans think F1 should have given them a chance. Sure, Andretti Global wanted to jump into F1 by 2025. However, F1 said no because Cadillac and General Motors needed more time to get their act together. That's a fair point, but fans are more upset about how F1 said it. They feel insulted, like F1 didn't respect Andretti. Some fans even say F1's explanation is just a cop-out, meaning they avoid the real issues. They point out that Andretti has been part of other racing events like Extreme E and Formula E. If F1 had a better relationship with Andretti, the rejection might have been kinder, maybe even with F1 helping Andretti succeed. American fans are hurt, feeling like F1 took advantage of them. F1 has a tough job winning back their trust and showing that they care about American fans. This rejection isn't just about Andretti. It's making fans question what F1's plan is in the US, and how much they care about the people who love watching their races. Is the possibility of joining F1 still open for Andretti in 2028? According to F1, the chances look brighter, mainly if General Motors, GM, develops a power unit for that season, bringing added prestige to the championship. F1's stance is clear. Any new team must make a significant impact, and the likelihood increases with GM's power unit in 2028. The statement from F1 highlights, in this case, there would be additional factors to consider in respect of the value that the applicant would bring to the championship, particularly in bringing a prestigious new original equipment manufacturer to the sport as a power unit supplier. GM's confirmation in November that they plan to build an F1 engine in 2028 aligning with the next cycle of regulations presents an exciting prospect. Adding GM to the roster of manufacturers, including Ferrari, Mercedes, Honda, Audi, and Ford, would mark a significant achievement for a sport that once struggled to attract such industry giants. GM has clarified that they'll only consider entering F1 with Andretti despite the paddock suggestion that they might prefer collaborating with an existing team. An Andretti entry powered by a GM-built engine for 2028 is seen as a more robust proposal than their initial plan of using a customer engine as a temporary solution until 2028. Waiting until 2028 would mean that Andretti would not enter the grid before a new Concord agreement comes into force, impacting the commercial terms between F1, the FIA, and the teams. This delay will likely result in an increased dilution fee to join the grid. Had Andretti been accepted for 2025, they would have paid a $200 million fee, split among the 10 teams to compensate for a reduced share of the prize money. Teams are pushing for a considerable increase, believing that the value of F1 has significantly risen since the previous Concord agreement. The negotiations for the upcoming Concord agreement will play a crucial role in shaping the process for Andretti's bid to join the grid in 2028, especially with the added dimension of a GM power unit.